Claude Skills 2.0 just dropped, and it is the most unfair advantage I've seen for content creation in years. Most people are going to use it like a chatbot, but if you stack skills together, you can build systems that 99% of people won't figure out for months. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a 3-level LinkedIn system using the new Claude Skills 2.0. Now you can write posts in your brand voice instantly, tap into trending topics people are actually talking about, and publish to LinkedIn automatically without ever having to lift a finger. So focus in, close all your open tabs, and let's build. So real quick, before we get into building, I always think it's good to go in with an action plan. So the first thing I want to do is just show you how you can create your very own tone of voice guidelines pretty much instantly. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to get some viral posts, because it's always helpful to have reference of things that are performing well so the system knows what types of posts that it should create. From there, we're going to use Anthropic's skill creator skill to create a brand new skill for us to write LinkedIn posts that will perform well and in our own tone of voice. So today we're going to be building our skill inside of Claude Code. I like to do this inside of an IDE or vibe coding platform like Anti-Gravity or Cursor, just because I think it's easier to interact with and you get the benefit of being able to see all the files that you create. So if you've never used Anti-Gravity before, just come over to antigravity.google and sign in with your Google name and password. So in order to get access to Claude, I'm just going to come up to the terminal, go to new terminal, and type in Claude. I'm not going to show you how to install this today or install the skill creator plugin. If you want that, that's the video I made yesterday. So in order to make anything inside of Anti-Gravity, you have to be inside a folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new folder on my desktop, and I'm just going to call this LinkedIn Skill. We can go ahead and click open, and now we are inside of the folder all ready to go. So come back up here. Now that we're actually inside the project, go ahead, start up Claude, and we can start chatting with the thing. So before we tell Claude to do anything in this case, we actually need to get a couple of items. So one, we said, is our tone of voice guidelines. And two, we want to get some posts that are already performing well. So there are basically two ways you can do this. You can either go ahead, if you already have LinkedIn posts that are performing well, or you've been writing blogs, or you have YouTube content or whatever, you can copy and paste those transcripts or those posts and basically tell Claude to extract your tone of voice from that. But what's pretty cool is if you've already been chatting with Claude or ChatGPT, it keeps a memory of all of your past conversations. So I could just come in and I can say, create a markdown file of a tone of voice guidelines for me. Keep it brief, no more than 1,500 words. So in just a couple of seconds, this created tone of voice guidelines for me. You can go ahead and change this and customize this however you want. So there are basically two ways to get this into the system. One, you can come up here and click download. And then from there, you can just go ahead and drag and drop your tone of voice guidelines into the LinkedIn skills folder. And so you can see here that these tone of voice guidelines appeared on the left-hand side here. Or if you don't want to do it that way, you can just come in, you can click copy, come back into Anti-Gravity, paste it over here, and you can just say, hey, create these tone of voice guidelines as a markdown file. So I have access to these tone of voice guidelines inside of the system. So this is step one. Cool, done. The next thing I want to do is I want to get viral posts. So you can go ahead and you can search LinkedIn to do this, but I have a platform called Trendjacker. It's exclusive to the community, and there is a secret feature called the Vault, which basically is community access to high performing LinkedIn content. So if you come in here, we can start to see any of the posts that I have saved or the community has saved that has already performed well. And so what we can do is we can really easily just go ahead and copy a post like this. And so what I can do is I can just say, please save this post as a markdown file, keep the formatting the same. And I can just paste in that post right there. And I can come back in here and I can save a few more of these. Like I think this one looks good. I can go ahead and copy this post. I can just say yes, allow edits. And I can say, please do the same here. Paste that in. That gets to work. And let's go ahead and grab this one too. I grew my agency to 7 million in 2025. Let's copy this post, and I'm just going to go ahead and give it one more. Now we have 3 posts as reference that I think will perform well. And if you want, this is why I like working in Anti-Gravity, because basically you can come in and you can actually see the posts that we have saved. And you can go ahead and add to this over time. Now we are all set up and we are ready to start building the skill itself. These are the bones and we have everything we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type slash. I can come into the skill creator skill, which is now even better thanks to Skills 2.0 because it actually tests itself and will improve itself if it finds areas that it could be better. So I can say, I want to create a skill that, given a topic, it will write a LinkedIn post in Duncan Rogoff's tone of voice, and it will mirror the format of any of the reference posts in the post folder and will really emphasize the type of strong hooks that we can expect, typically results driven or using numbers or statistics or things like that. I'm just going to go ahead and send this off, and the skill creator skill is going to automatically build exactly what I have in mind. It's actually insane. And so this is level one, right? And so this is not so dissimilar from a custom GPT or a Claude project where basically the skill acts as the system instructions or how you want the system to behave. And my tone of voice guidelines and the posts essentially act as the knowledge base that the system is pulling from. So this is level one. And again, like you may be familiar with something like this, but this is really just the beginning. This is level one. Claude Skills can actually make systems like this so much more powerful. And so this is pretty cool. What I love about these systems is you can actually see them thinking. So now it says, now I have a solid read on Duncan's style. And then it says, I've analyzed all 3 posts. Here are the hook patterns that I'm noticing. Here's the format that I'm noticing. Here's the CTA and things like that. And so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm continuing to click yes to allow Claude to work on whatever it is that it's working on. This is one of the biggest improvements in Claude Skills 2.0 over version 1. And what it's doing now is it's actually testing the system itself before it finalizes the skill. It actually spawned 6 different agents to write 6 different LinkedIn posts for me. And then here's the format that it's going to use for every single one. And then it's going to check the outputs itself to make sure that it's doing a good job before it actually finalizes the skill. So if we come in here, we can see that it's already doing an incredible job on the hooks. I built 3 AI tools in 2 weeks using Claude Code. I replaced a $15,000 a month dev team with a $20 a month AI subscription. Like, it's actually incredible what's happening now. Hook, I'm giving away the 47 prompts that run my agency. I know that post is going to blow up. In fact, I've used systems just like this to generate tons of engagement for my LinkedIn content. If you want to get access to the skill we built today, already created for you, I'll leave a link in the description where you can come into the community, click download, save this to your folder, give it to Claude, and start going viral on LinkedIn today. Okay, so the skill creator skill finished, and it is actually kind of insane what it made. I did not tell it to do this, but it actually made this little HTML site to check the effectiveness of the skill itself. So you can see that with the skill, it scores 100%, and without the skill, it scores 71%. And basically, if you come down here, these are the things it checked, like the hooks. Does it have a number? Is it short enough? Does the formatting use arrows? Is the CTA accurate, right? And with it, everything passes, but without it, it doesn't use arrows. It actually uses corporate jargon or things like that. So you can actually see that it went through and it checked all 3 of the posts that it created with and without the skill. Again, I didn't tell it to do this, which is why Skills 2.0 is so friggin' powerful. So we can see the skill wins consistently on one thing every single time, which is the formatting. So formatting, as you know, is so important for your LinkedIn posts to perform well, especially those first 3 lines, which happens like above that little like read more line or above the fold. And so if we get the formatting right and we get the hook right, people want to click read more and they're going to want to read the rest of your post. So this skill has been created. We've basically accomplished level 1, and we can now test this on any single topic that we give it. All you have to do now is type in /, and if we type in LinkedIn, we can see the LinkedIn post skill comes up. So if now I hit tab, I can give the system any topic that I want. It'll write a LinkedIn post using my tone of voice and using some of the best practices from the viral posts that we gave it as reference. So we could say, I want to write a LinkedIn post on how I use Claude Code or Claude Skills to create more viral LinkedIn posts. So now we can give it kind of this meta prompt, and let's just see what it comes up with. So here we go. In just a couple of seconds, we have a post in our tone of voice. I turn Claude Code into a viral LinkedIn post machine. Here's how it works. Then people are going to want to click read more to see how it works. Here's these arrow lists that we're so familiar with on LinkedIn in these lead magnet style posts. And then it even has comment skill, and I'll send it to you. So now we could just copy and paste this over to LinkedIn. Anyone who comments skill, we'll send them our resource that we have. We'll basically use them as a lead for our business, and we can nurture that relationship. I even personally have a lead magnet skill that I built to create lead magnets specifically for this purpose. So we can come in here and we can now check off, okay, we've gotten our viral post and we've created our level 1 skill. The next thing we want to do is we want to level up. We can make this even better by creating a level 2 skill. What we're going to do is we're actually going to tap into Reddit to get what people on the internet are actually talking about and turn those conversations into our LinkedIn posts. So that way we're not just talking about whatever we feel like talking about, we're actually talking about things that our audience wants to hear. So inside of Trendjacker, I have access to different subreddits like ChatGPT or MicroSass or N8N, right? But you can just go ahead and access these directly on Reddit. But what's really cool is that every single subreddit has a really easy way for you to access all of the information inside of it, like the post titles, the bodies, the engagement metrics, using this JSON format, which is a format that Claude Code can natively really understand. So I want to go ahead and I want to refine this skill. I want to upgrade our LinkedIn post skill. I want to now have the ability to scrape a certain subreddit that I give it, or scrape a group of subreddits to pull in trending topics, and then based off of those topics, the user will then identify one to create the viral LinkedIn post from. We should scrape data from Reddit using a JSON format. I just said start with r/entrepreneur, so we're just going to use the subreddit entrepreneur as our test for this. Claude Code gave us our plan, right? It's going to add the Reddit scraper to hit Reddit's public JSON API. We don't need any authentication or anything like that. It's going to filter for trending posts. It's going to update the skill to add this discovery phase, and then it's just going to create this for us automatically. And I'm just going to say, yes, go ahead and do this. Cool. So this finished running, and basically it said, this is working perfectly. Here's how to use it. You either type in the /LinkedIn post command to bring up the skill, and you can ask it what's trending on whatever the subreddit is, or you can actually tell it to scrape the subreddit for a specific topic. It also asked me if I wanted to try selecting a topic from the list above, but if you look, like, we don't actually see a list. But one thing to note is that you can see here that there's 29 lines that aren't expanded, and if you just hit Control-O on the keyboard, it's actually going to expand all this. So these are the trending topics from the entrepreneur subreddit that it was able to pull in. And so if we wanted to write any type of post based off one of these topics, we can just say, hey, this topic sounds interesting, let's write a post on that. So let's just go ahead and try this from scratch on something totally new, just to test the system fully. So we can type in /LinkedIn post, and I could say, what's trending in r/SaaS? So my thinking is there are a couple of different ways to go about it. You could ask it for a subreddit every single time, or you could create a separate file, which basically has a list of subreddits, and then it's going to go in and maybe pull the top 10 posts from each subreddit every time you run this command. And that's probably the best way to do something like this over time. It went ahead and it scraped this all like super quickly, and then it actually mapped out a couple of suggestions that it thinks would be relevant to me and my audience. This first one is super good. I shut down my funded startup because of Claude. Like, I think this is awesome and very on trend right now. Definitely write a LinkedIn post on number 3. And after we do this, I do just want to go ahead and show you how easy it is to upgrade that system to be able to scrape multiple subreddits. So here's the post already written. It's also cool because it understood that this wasn't me. So it went ahead and say, a funded SaaS founder shut down his company this week because of Claude. He had investors, he had paying customers, yada, yada, yada. So really powerful. If we want, we can copy and paste this. We can ask Claude to make any changes to this post itself. And what's pretty cool is that Claude is smart and it understands that we made changes, and we can have it actually update the skill to reflect any of the input and feedback that we give it. And so let's just go ahead and now make that update to be able to scrape multiple subreddits. I want to update the skill to be able to scrape multiple subreddits. Let's just create some sort of reference file with different subreddits in it. Entrepreneur is good, SaaS, N8N, ChatGPT. We can add to this over time. And so anytime we run the LinkedIn post skill, we're basically going to pull the top 10 posts from each of the subreddits, and then the user will be able to choose what type of content they want to write for LinkedIn. So this is done. It says it's working perfectly. It's scraping 40 topics across 4 different subreddits, and now it's using this file as a single source of truth that we can add more subreddits to over time, the more we expand our reach. We've now accomplished level 2 of being able to pull data in from the internet to write our LinkedIn post for us. And the last thing we need to do is actually integrate this skill to be able to post to LinkedIn on our behalf. There's a really great third-party site called Blotato. I am not affiliated with them, but they have one of my favorite APIs for posting to any of your social media channels. And so while today we're talking about LinkedIn, you can use this to post to Instagram, to X, YouTube Shorts, wherever. And literally all you have to do is come in here and you can log in with any of your accounts. So this is really powerful. What's great is they also have a new MCP server that allows you to really easily connect to all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select this. And over here, you can see we have the MCP. So we can just copy this and we can come into Claude Code and we can say, hey, I want to connect this using the Blotato MCP. So now Claude Code can publish automatically on our behalf. This is awesome. I want to upgrade this to a level 3 skill. I want to be able to automatically publish to LinkedIn using the Blotato MCP. And here is the MCP configuration. So now I'm just going to paste in the configuration that we copied from Blotato. And now Claude will understand that this is the new skill that we're going to create. So we're upgrading our skill to level 3. What's also cool about the Blotato MCP is it actually gives you the ability to schedule your posts. And so you could come in here and spend 20 minutes working with Claude Code and generate like an entire month's worth of content that you schedule to run for you automatically. So this took just a couple minutes and we are all ready to go. You can see we have these 3 phases now. The discover phase to run the scraper to pull in posts per subreddit. Phase 2, the write phase to actually generate posts in our tone of voice guidelines based off of the references and the formatting rules we gave it. And phase number 3, publish it. You can either publish the post now or schedule it for later. So this says the Blotato MCP will be available in Claude Code after a restart. So let's go ahead, let's restart Claude Code and test the whole system end to end. So I'm just going to type in exit to exit here, tells me bye, and I can just type in Claude to launch Claude back up again. So we just restarted a session and now we can go ahead and test this out. I can just type in /, go to LinkedIn post, and I can say, scrape some Reddit posts for me. So now this is going to get to work. It's going to scrape trending Reddit posts in the subreddits that I have given it. And from there, we can actually write our posts in our tone of voice based off the formatting of the references and then actually publish it to LinkedIn. So here's what's trending across the subreddits in Entrepreneur. This guy had his third exit at 250 million. This guy tripled revenue by raising prices. I kind of like this post. Number 10, they tripled revenue by raising prices. So I'm just going to go ahead and say number 10. And it's going to get to work writing the post for us. So this is awesome. In just a couple of seconds, I raised my prices 2x, lost 3 clients, tripled revenue. Here's what I didn't do. So this is a great post for LinkedIn, and I just like this the way it is, so I want to publish it from here. Publish it. So if we come over to my LinkedIn account and we can scroll down, we can see that publish now was this post. I raised my prices 2 times, lost 3 clients, and tripled my revenue. This is all published and good to go. Comment pricing and I'll send you the guide. So you now know how to build a 3-level skill inside of Claude Code using the new Skills 2.0. If you want to get access to the skill we just built, already built for you, just come in here, click download, give this to Claude Code, and you're all set up, ready to go. If you want to join thousands of others using AI to build their personal brand and drive new leads for their business, just check the link in the description. And if you want to learn how to use Google Anti-Gravity better than 99% of people out there, check out this video right here. I'll see you over there.